and calling people to reconciliation and peace. Together with Muslim leaders, bishops and church presidents traveled through the country and preached and taught that God does not want the death of people, neither in the Muslim nor in the Christian faith. They often were aggressed by their own members because of that message. In conclusion, let me use Paulus' comparison of the stories which form our lives, the narratives, with the river. We imagine a person who quietly sits in a small boat floating on a river, together with many other people in other boats. Stage 2. At one moment, the transition, the person feels an impulsion to look at the river and the boats of all the others from another perspective and steers to the shore. From there, he or she gets a more distanced view of his or her background, motives, values. But the person stands on the shore with many others who come from the same river and did the same. They give the person the feeling of not being alone. Stage 3. Transition. At one point, though, the person will again feel the impulsion to move on, this time up to a hill where he or she can see many rivers, with many people standing on their shores. The person will realize that there are indeed many ways of life, many value systems, and that he or she will have to make choices. That is possible because the person walked on the mountain alone. Stage 4. That gives him or her a greater freedom of choice, but also a feeling of loneliness and increased responsibility. Such a person does not change every time. Rather, the person grows inwardly. Paul is teaching us that the impulsion to move on comes quite naturally at the thresholds of the new phases of life, ideally at a certain age span in a person's life. The question is this: do the people in the other boats let the person go and steer to the shore? Or will they hold him or her back? Will those on the shore let the person go to the mountain or ostracize him or her? If he or she turns against the community, if this happens, growth is hindered. The best thing to happen is to be with leaders who encourage and even challenge young people to move on, and who do this in a friendly and caring manner. In my eyes, this is exactly what theological education is about. Fowler does not hide the fact that moving on is not always easy, but can be laden with fear. Moving on means disappointing others, the risk of being alone, and taking over responsibility. Much will depend on whether young people are encouraged by others who assure them that there is no reason to fear. Pastors assure their members, bishops assure their pastors, teachers assure their students that moving on is allowed. It is beneficial, and it is God's will. And isn't that the gospel in a nutshell? Do not fear. I thank you for your attention.